Welcome back, everybody, to the IACC Pune Integrate Conference with partners Automation Alley. So we've heard some of the transformation lessons from Automation Alley. Now let's hear a thought-provoking discussion from an eminent panel on what building blocks the organization is going to have to put in place to successfully adopt Industry 4.0. Moderator Prajakta Kotastana, who's MD of Sri Ram Rubber, and also the Vice Chairperson of the IACC Pune, will interact with panelists Rajiv Khare, who's the Global IT Head of Sigma Electronic Manufacturing Corp, and Ulhas Deshpande, who's the Partner for Digital Operations at PwC. And they are going to shed light on this. Their detailed profiles are up on the website, so please do go and have a look at those. And now, Prajakta, over to you. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Prajakta Kotasthane, and I will moderate today's panel discussion on organizational building blocks for successful adoption of Industry 4. I'm pleased to welcome our two panelists for today, Mr. Rajiv Khare, VP and Global IT Head of Sigma Electric Manufacturing Corporation, and Mr. Ulhas Deshpande, Partner Digital Operations at PricewaterhouseCoopers, India. Both our panelists have vast experience in industrial automation, smart manufacturing, digital solutions, and similar areas of Industry 4. Thank you to both of you for participating as panelists at IACC and Automation Alley's Integrate Conference. Welcome and thanks to all our participants and audience. While this is a virtual event, we will try to make it interactive, and we hope there will be key takeaways and learnings for each of you from today's session. Industry 4, with its main components of simulation, cyber-physical systems, 3D printing, amongst others, has become necessary for organizations to adopt, especially as we emerge from this pandemic. But organizations need to have a clearer and better understanding of why Industry 4 and how do we make this transition towards digital changes. What are the expected measurable benefits and how do we go about on this journey of Industry 4 implementation? So our discussion today will cover aspects of an organization's readiness and strategy for Industry 4 implementation. With that, I welcome you all once again and hand over to our first panelist, Mr. Rajiv Khare, for his opening remarks. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks, Prajakta, for the introduction. I would like to thank IAC for giving me the opportunity for speaking in this virtual summit. And so, as Prajakta rightly said, the context of today's discussion, I feel that the various technology needs, that is Industry 4.0, digitalization, IoT, robotic process, all these are the needs of the hour. Because as you know, we all have been witnessing the pandemic since last 1 year, and it has affected our industries in a very bad manner. So every industry is trying to get back into the normal stream, rather enhance their manufacturing process excellence and get back to the customers at the earliest possible. So, in my opinion, adopting to such kind of strategies is the only way to get back to normalcy. So, today's topic is quite relevant, and let us see how we can throw some more light on how the MSMEs should adapt to these strategies in a very successful manner.
Thank you, Mr. Rajiv. I request Mr. Ulhas to please address the audience.
Good evening, and thanks Prajakta and Rajiv for a very good introduction and setting the context for this topic. When you talk about Industry 4.0, I always say that it's much talked and less adopted subject. And always kind of have my discussion into two part, pre-pandemic and post-pandemic. Because pandemic has really changed the perspective about adopting the technology into manufacturing. If you really look at it, industry entire 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 and 4.0, where we talk about we are currently into the 4.0, India largely has missed 3.0. If you really look at it in Indian context perspective, we have very low automation on our shop floor. Most of our processes are manual, and there are various reasons for it. Availability of the people and dependence on the people is definitely one of the reasons. where we have less kind of automation on our shop floor compared to the developed countries where the labor cost was also an issue. But a pandemic has really thrown a challenge in terms of when your key resources are not available. When pandemic was saying, force us to really think that can we continue in the way we are managing our shop floors. And that's where I think I really see that Industry 4.0 now will change from much talked to more adoption, and that's the phase I really see going forward. It's also important that look at the way now India want to be a kind of a global manufacturing hub. We are talking about we being a part of a global supply chain. Now, can we really be there and compete with the world best without having a technology adoption? Can we continue with the way our manual processes where there is a doubt on the data? I don't think so. So my perspective that now Industry 4.0 is not something of option a manufacturer has. It is must. Now it all depends that how quickly, in a how agile way they adopt it, and also make sure that it's not a broad brush. Sometimes we talk about the Industry 4.0, we talk about the technology, we talk about the adaptive manufacturing, we talk about the artificial intelligence, machine learning, predictive maintenance. We talk about all the various technologies available, including the IIoT, which is basically sensorization and getting a data. Other elements are also very critical, which are people and processes. So for Industry 4.0 adoption, when we talk about the building block, fundamental, I say there are technology is must. It's the core of Industry 4.0, but we also need to make sure that the people and the processes, the business processes, are also need to be fully aligned, and then only we will have a successful Industry 4.0 adoption. So from my perspective, unless and until we work on these three basic building blocks, we will not have a successful Industry 4.0 adoption in any of the sectors, let it be SME or let it be a large organization.
Thank you to both of you for your insightful remarks. And both of you rightly said, it has become the need of the hour. Industry 4 is no longer a buzzword. And especially in the situation of the pandemic and India now considered a global manufacturing hub, organizations certainly need to have a better understanding and roadmap on how to implement. And Mr. Olas, you said that Industry 4 is not just about technology. The people and process aspect of it are equally important. So thanks once again. We'll move on to our questions. My first question is for you, Mr. Ulas. So we know about the general benefits of Industry 4. But can you elaborate a little more on the business case or rationale for companies, especially in the SME sector, that is the small and medium enterprise, to implement these solutions? What is the expected ROI or quantifiable benefits?
Sure. So, Prajakta, I think the ROI is kind of again much talked about it. Whenever we talk about the manufacturer, we say that okay, there is an investment required. The plants were running for so many years, and now if I want to invest money, what is ROI? I think an Indian context, as we know, this is more relevant. So I think the ROIs are very clear, and organizations who are adopted has seen a benefit. And again, I will say in both the perspective of pre-pandemic and post-pandemic. And post-pandemic, I think the organization who had adopted the technology could quickly adapt to the new situations. Like if I have a data coming, and if I want to analyze the data, sitting at home, I can get data on my laptop and I can do analysis, correct? If there is a critical issue in my shop floor. Now, I know so many that whenever the key resource who has worked in a plant for the last 20 years, if there is a mechanical failure, there is some issue, the operator will quickly go to the person, he will come to the shop floor, he will solve it and all. And suddenly there was a pandemic. There was a restriction that, okay, only so many number of people can come. So the key resources who has such a wealth of knowledge, how they can remotely support. I think the simple business case we can talk about it, and all the organizations, all the manufacturer has seen it. In all my discussions with the various clients, we have suddenly seen the surge of a kind of a discussion around it, how quickly we can adopt Industry 4.0. ROI is important, so let's talk about some numbers, what we have seen. If you really talk about the critical parameters, OEE, overall equipment efficiency is one of the parameters normally all the organizations, mostly in a discrete, always track. In a various implementation, we have seen almost 4 to 7% jump in OEE for the organizations who have adopted the technology. And again, it's a range. The reason it's a range because different organizations are at different level of maturity. We literally talk about what kind of a headroom we have in terms of benefit we can get. A quality, another parameter. We are seeing huge benefit and simple technologies. Again, putting a business case like putting a camera. Organizations who has a precision building requirement, organization who has a kind of a where they can put a camera, use the OCR technology instead of human being going, putting a hand, lots of dependence on the person's experience. But simply putting a camera, you can have huge benefit. The camera will check the image of the perfect kind of a weld versus the new manual weld. The algorithm will check and let you know it's rejected or it's selected. So simple. Look at so much of business case we talk about. Another important from SME perspective, energy. Energy consumption is such an important parameter and it's such a big cost for all organizations. But simple having energy meters, I can tell one of the example, two real business case I can talk about it for people to really get excited about it. That for one of the organization which is at one company, energy was one of the key. When we look at the cost, we saw the energy was definitely one of the key contributor to the cost. And definitely there was no energy meters, there was no measurements. So we first what we did, let's put a measurement point, let's put the energy meters, let's put the manual inputs wherever possible. And a revealing kind of a stuff came that they found out in a particular shift, in a particular set of operators are there, energy consumption is high. Now this kind of insight you will only get when you have the data. Otherwise, you'll never get into that. And they found out, is it a training issue? So it's not actually the technology has just helped you to get the insight, but the issue was maybe the operator need to be trained properly because the way they are operating the machines, I think the energy consumption was high. So we can talk about various such examples where by small investment, the ROI will be huge. Reduction in the cost, the operation cost. We have seen the reduction on the operation cost up to 5 to 8% by adopting the technologies. Quality improvement, we have seen 10% ppm improvement in a quality by using the technology. So we can talk about various kind of a business cases. Business case again will be suited to the each industry in what kind of sector they are. Another example I can give for one of the sugar cane. I was talking about one of the CFO for a sugar mill, and then I was surprised sugar, which look not to be so adapted to technology. They say in a pandemic situation they can run their plant because they say normal our size of a plant needs 700 people to run, where we are running with the 300 people because we have adopted this, and they started this journey in 2005. So I was very surprised even the sugar industry has adopted that kind of a technology so early. So ROI is important and ROI is there. Pandemic has really made it more that it's not only a return on basically on the key parameters, but also a dependency on a human. You cannot continue for a long. And that's where I think the make a clear business case for all the organizations to adopt Industry 4.0.
Yeah. No, and it's interesting and encouraging that you say that a traditional industry like sugar industry has started implementing this in 2005. And you spoke about all the key metrics, be it energy efficiency, operational efficiency, OEE, quality, etc., which will certainly build a strong business case even for companies in the SME sector. And of course, with the need of social distancing, etc., and few people working in the companies, we will need to have access to data even remotely. So I think that was that answered the question quite comprehensively. Mr. Rajiv, for the question for you in continuation with what Mr. Ullas just spoke, while the business case may be built, one challenge that leaders may face is to build a roadmap, more specifically a strategic roadmap for executing these solutions and figuring out where to begin. So what are your guidelines on this? What is the starting point? Is the organization ready? What part of industry for, what component of industry for should I start with? So can you shed some light on this?
Sure, Prajakta. As Mr. Ullas has just now said that it is very important for us to be on the Industry 4.0 and various use cases. So similarly, I can say that nowadays the entire world and the entire economy has becoming very much competitive, and especially after the pandemic situation, it is very much important for an organization to jump back into the main flow and ensure that you capture the opportunity. And if you are not able to capture the opportunity, then somebody else, your competitor, will catch the opportunity. So for this, what is important according to me is a very neat and detailed process led approach to this entire implementation of Industry 4.0. And for that, the sort of homework is required from the IT side and also the business side. So we should be clear as to what we want to achieve from this Industry 4.0 implementation. It is not because somebody else is doing, I should also do it. A very important factor is that in my business, in my business model, what are the opportunities wherein I should implement Industry 4.0. So with this homework, I can say that a detailed project plan should be prepared and explained to the management and the business side, and explain them the benefits of implementation of Industry 4.0. And if you are able to do that homework and explain it to the management, it's a detailed approach, project plan, timeline, all these things, and especially what are the benefits. Now, as Ullah said, that OE is one of the factor which is being talked about more and more. So there are in industry there are lot many equipments which are traditional equipments, legacy equipments. So how to capture this data from this legacy equipments or the manufacturing shop floor scenario? So you need to study very well and prepare a detailed approach paper as to how you are going to capture the data. Data, for that matter, according to me, is always there. Data is all which is always talked about. But after capturing the data, how is that data is going to be treated? How is that data going to be sliced and diced, and a meaningful insight from that data is will be captured, and how it will be used by various operational people or the business heads, and from that, what decisions effectively can be taken. So this is more important. It is not just like the implementation of any particular project. This also Industry 4.0 is being implemented. So again, I'm saying that a very detailed process and approach needs to be made, and a detailed plan needs to be prepared, submitted to management, convinced to management, get the approvals, and start implementation of these projects. In this, it's almost clear that you need to select a proper technology or implementation partner. So that is very important according to me, because all the skill set may not be available within your organization. Out of say 10 skill set, you might be having 5 to 6 skill set. But there are certain cases, areas wherein we need to have the subject matter. So selection of proper implementation partner is also there, and not only selection of partner, but he should walk the talk with you and ensure that the entire objective is met. So according to me, this is very much important in the overall process. And another important factor which I always say is important is that it should be a top-down approach. It should not be a decision that has been taken by the senior management and it is down the line given for implementation. It is not like that. The senior management has to have the ownership of this particular entire project and ensure that from time to time interactions happen with the implementation people, business, operational heads, maintenance, whoever are involved in that, and always is kind of checking from time to time as to what is the progress of the entire project. Are we on the track? Are we getting the desired results? So if this is a kind of systematic approach taken by the organization, wherein all the kind of CFT teams are formed and the interactions happen on a regular basis, and whether the objectives are met. So this kind of approach will definitely help in successful adaptation of Industry 4.0.
Yeah. So what we get from this is that firstly, what is it that the organization is trying to achieve with the implementation? What are we trying to achieve? That should be really clear what the objective is, and followed by getting buy-in from all the stakeholders, be it the management or be it the process owners, operators, because it should not be an imposed decision. They should clearly understand the benefits so that the implementation is done well. And of course, selecting the right partner from an IT or technology perspective, mapping the processes. So it needs to be done systematically with a detailed project plan. Yeah, I think that gives a good starting for leaders on how to go about it. And Mr.
Yes,
Ullas,
yes.
he spoke about new skill sets and skill sets that are needed, which may or may not be available with each organization. So, what are the new skills that are required in this changed digital environment? How important is training or upskilling to make this transition successful?
Yeah, one of the very critical elements, and we call it two: upskilling and reskilling. Okay, you need both kind of aspect. Okay, if you talk about a hard skill perspective, okay, and we can again look at it soft skill and hard skill. A hard skill perspective, what is Industry 4.0? We all talk about it's data, correct? It's all a data capture, data analytics, making information from the data. So I think for sure organization need to build a skill set around the data.
Mm.
Okay, we'll need a data scientist, okay, in terms of making sure that how I can really, if I have so the moment we start capturing the data, I have a history of my last 1 year plant, and now I need to do analysis. And analysis could have a different kind of perspective. It could be a seasonal, it could be a market driven, it could be an internal driven, okay, what are the initiatives you are taken. So I think the one very important is basically skills and the culture, and I think both are important. How we can start believing on the data. Okay, a simple example is that now I know every day I go on the same route, but still I start my Google Map and I start looking at Google Map, correct? Because it tells me additional information. I know the route. It's not I want to know the route. I know the route, but just the traffic and all information. So how we start believing in the data. So I think that skills around data is very important from the hard skill perspective. Another again skill set is also important is on around IT, OT, and networking, because again we are talking about getting a data from the machines, correct? So operations technology, and there is a classic kind of a merge between IT and OT. We need to look at that perspective also. So definitely the hard skills around IT, OT, and I'm more talking from the SMEs perspective, because large organizations will have the CIOs, CDOs, and they will have their own kind of entire ecosystem. But for small organizations, when they're looking at it, I think definitely they should have a skill set around these two. Now, other part is also important that they do have resources. They have people, operator who are running that machine for last 10 years. Okay, and now we are asking him that okay, we have added some more sensors around it. You have a screen. It tells you that okay, when is the next order is going to come. How he start interpret it. How he start using it. Because and we'll talk about it separately also in one of the failure mode is also that when people start bypassing it. So it's very important that we reskill the people. We let them use the systems. They should be very familiar with the system. So whatever systems we adopt, build the confidence around it. So, and that's where we talk about all the cognitive kind of skills that also we need to build on the systems, even the leadership. I think when we say the upskilling and reskilling, it's not only for the people who are managing the plant. Leaders also need to be upskilled themselves. They also need to start looking at how the KPIs are calculated, what it means for us. So I think this is a big subject and should not be neglected. For sure, there has to be a proper plan. Which are the skills are required? So you need to add new role in organization. As we say, large organizations have started from CIO. Now we have CDO. We are talking about the new kind of a CRO also. Okay, Chief Robotic Officers also will be a new role be created. So definitely, it's an evolution happening from CIO to CDO to CRO. These are the new skills, the new kind of roles we have to create. People who are already working on a plant also need to upskill from the data perspective. They also need to be reskilled from the perspective of how they use the system. And this is one of the critical elements for any successful Industry 4.0 implementation.
Yeah, so that's interesting, Mr. Ullas. My question, I spoke about reskilling and upskilling, but you also put the cultural or mindset change in it, because this change is quite a big transition for any organization. So the mindset change is also an important aspect that needs to be considered.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Rajiv, question for you. So, let's say as a business owner, I'm convinced about the business case and rationale. I even know how I should start with this transition. But how do I check if my organization is even ready for this change? Are there some prerequisites that need to be in place before an organization thinks of implementing these solutions?
Yeah, Prajakta, this is very important question and quite relevant. I can say that. So before we embark on the journey of implementation of Industry 4.0, and what is most important is that we should have a kind of readiness check whether our organization is ready for going in for the implementation of Industry 4.0, not only from the perspective of technology and also from the perspective of people in the sense skill set, say. So that readiness check is very much required, and that can be done in-house. But nowadays there are certain agencies or the implementation partners, I can say, that they work along with you. They have they do conduct a kind of a workshop, one-day workshop, and go through the various parameters and check whether your organization is ready or not. So I think this is a worth spending that time and money also for that, to check whether your organization is ready or not. Nowadays there are various solutions in the market, and solutions are offered on different parameters, I can say that. But what is important is that with respect to my area of business, my requirement, whether that solution meets the requirement or not. Just to quote an example, today morning I was in a discussion wherein certain energy management related solution were being demonstrated by a company. So then internally I checked up with our people. Then they said that the requirement is that since we are spread across different locations, we would like to capture the energy readings from different plants and give it to finance for their calculations. I asked, what is the more required? What is that you are looking after? Then the answer was not proper, according to say. So from this example, I would like to bring to your notice that sometimes our requirements are small, but because certain organizations are trying to implement that solution, go in for that solution. So what is important, very important, is that what is the requirement? What is that we require? Suppose we have a scale of 1 to 10, the solution is offering all the 10 points, whether all the 10 points are required for us or not, or we do require only 1 to 5, and what to spend on the 6 to 10 points. So that needs to be carefully analyzed and done. So these are the certain checks that organization internally along with IT and business functions need to do before starting a particular implementation of the project. Also, what is important is how much amount of money we are spending in that particular solution, and how much amount of return we are going to get it. As Ullas mentioned about the ROI in the industry scenario, so we also need to check if we are spending, say, X amount of money, and how much money we are going to return, and what are the benefits that we are going to get it, and from those benefits, what will be the implications on the business, what will be the to be situation after implementing the solution, what where we were earlier and where we are going to after implementation of that industry solution. And also one more point I would like to stress is time study also needs to be done before and after implementation of industry 4 projects. Suppose in a particular situation, a particular process was taking X amount of time and the steps involved were 1 to 10, and post implementation of that particular industry 4.0 project, how much time it is going to reduce and how much steps it is going to reduce also. That is equally important. If the solution after implementation also we are going to consume the same amount of time, same amount of steps, then it is definitely not going to add value to the business. So business is looking at what value addition these projects are going to give to the business. So that is also a very important factor according to me. And this small things, but needs to be taken into consideration before implementation of any industry 4.0 project. The most important factor is readiness of the organization and whether it is the right time for implementation of such projects.
Yeah, so that's interesting that you said there are firms which help in checking organization's readiness, and it ties into the previous point of cost benefit analysis, and really understanding what is the objective to implement Industry 4. So that brings me to the next question on what are the failure modes that an organization must keep in mind while adopting this transformation, and how can they mitigate the impact of these potential risks? Mr. Ullas, can you take that question?
Yeah, and a very important point because we have situations earlier where people have adopted the technology, did not get the benefit which they were envisaged, and hence there is a low confidence. So I think it has to be a really well thought through strategy. Raju talked about it. One of the important failure mode is not having that cohesive strategy, not having the roadmap, going implementation on piecemeal basis. And then you create a zoo. You have a different kind of a technology, software element, which are not talking to each other, and then I think you kind of struggle to get the benefit. So I think the one important is having a clear roadmap. Raju again talked about it. Let me re-emphasize the leadership buy-in. It's very important. It has to be a top drill because we are changing the culture. The plant is running for last 10 years, 20 years. People are used to a kind of a processes, and now when you are bringing that change, the change management is very critical element, and that will only happen when there is one a leadership support, a leadership driving it, and also a business buy-in. Other perspective also we can think it cannot be a IT driven. Sometimes I have seen a failure if it is a IT driven project. It should not be IT driven project. It has to be a business driven project. So three elements we talk about it: roadmap, a leadership buy-in. It has to be a business driven and not a IT driven. Other aspect which again I started and emphasizing on it multiple times is the people. Taking people in the confidence. The systems we are putting on a shop floor are not a policing on you. It's going to help you better if you be more productive. If that confidence is built, then people will start kind of using the systems. Otherwise, there is always a kind of a doubt, and I have seen a very failure. I can say that I was part of some of the implementation which has actually failed just because of people confidence was not there. And that's where it's very important that upskilling and reskilling and making sure that people understand it going forward. This is no kind of a parallel path there. And I said this multiple times that Excel is one of the best competition for MES solutions. People are so used to on their own calculation, their own kind of Excel sheet, and they use those, and then it become a people centric versus the process centric. I can another example to be more that this is one of the large enterprise, and we implemented employer dashboarding solution for them. And actually, for that every morning 10 o'clock meeting has to be conducted on the dashboard which are there. There was a large screen they have put. But what used to happen, every function lead used to come with his own paper. Okay, so you have parallel system, and that will never. And the leader, he said nothing doing. Meeting will be conducted only on a dashboard or data which I see here. I don't want anyone to come with their own papers because this is what be the truth for everyone. And that helped actually to make the system also robust. So I think these are a very critical element for which are a failure mode, that this has to be a thought through, a full roadmap, leadership buy-in, take people in confidence are a critical element for any successful Industry 4.0 implementation.
Yeah, and that's extremely important for all of us to understand. The people aspect of this journey is very important. And to sum up our question and answer session, it's a long journey. We spoke about the roadmap and a long journey. But how can we embrace the benefits of these changes in the shortest possible time to add value to the organization? Mr. Rajiv, if you can take that up, what is the expected timeline? And how can this be done in the most efficient and effective manner?
Yeah, very good question. I can say that once the mindset is set that we have to implement Industry 4.0 projects, the readiness is done, the buying is done, then what is more important is that implementation part. So while during the implementation, care should be taken that the implementation goes flawless and there are no setbacks on that. Various methodologies can be used like failure mode effect analysis, then PDCA cycle can be done. So by way of this, you can have a check on the various implementation methodologies also. And one suggestion that I would like to give is that it's a long process-driven approach, and sky is the limit for any area of implementation of Industry 4.0. There are no set of 10 areas wherein you can implement Industry 4.0. So once you start implementation of various projects, there can be some other more and more industry projects wherein the business owners and the operational lead people will themselves come forward and say that we would like to implement this and that, because they have got a confidence now. So while doing this, a very strategic approach, and that is start small and then grow big. It should not be a kind of big bang approach. We want to do everything, so one fine morning we declare that yes, we were going for this kind of implementations. No, it should not be a publicized kind of thing, but start small and go big. That is the approach that industry should take. And another important thing is keeping a track of various implementations is very important. So we started with particular implementation, and where are we after a month, where are we after 3 months, and keeping a track of that is very, very important. And when you conclude on a particular subset, then what is important is that you should be able to quantify the benefits of that, whether it is direct tangible benefits or non-tangible benefits. IT department along with the business owner should be able to put it on paper, saying that before the scenario was such and such a thing, after implementation of this particular project, this is the to be scenario, and what are the benefits achieved, these are the benefits achieved, tangible and non-tangible. So the value addition should be very well clearly spelled in terms of measurables. So just like we define the SMART goals, similarly we should be able to present on paper the benefits of the implementation of the project. And in the process, I can say that while we are progressing on the Industry 4.0 path, we should be able to set certain benchmarks earlier where we were and what are the benchmarks that we should go as per the industry standards. So that is also equally important, so that we slowly progress toward the industry best practices. So while implementing this, it's also important that to find out what is happening in a similar industry and take the best guidelines from them and set and implement the good business practices. This is very important. So in a nutshell, I can say that if you are able to homework starting from the requirement gathering, implementation methodology, selection of best technical implementation partners, start implementing the projects, measure the benefits, keep a check on every project, and keep interacting with the people and take them into confidence from time to time. All these steps will definitely help in easy and quick adoption of Industry 4.0 projects.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Rajiv Khade and Mr. Ulhas Khade, for your informative and practical inputs. And you have covered all three main dimensions: technology, people, and process. This was certainly an interesting session, and I'm sure it's going to be beneficial for our audience. Thank you once again, and we will now open the questions for our audience. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much for a fascinating panel discussion. And we've got Prajakta, Ulhas, and Rajiv here. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to start with a couple of questions. So the first one, perhaps Prajakta, you can start with it, and then perhaps Rajiv, you can also give your comment on it. And that's really from an SME perspective. How do we look at the practical aspect of implementing Industry 4.0? What would you say, Prajakta?
Thanks, Vandana. Firstly, good evening to everyone, all the participants joining from India, and good morning to participants from the US and the West. I'm Prajakta, and a little bit about our company. We manufacture industrial products from polymers, so be it elastomers and or plastics. And from an SME perspective, like we said in the panel discussion, Industry 4 is no longer a buzzword, but it has become a necessity for us to implement as well, especially with the pandemic and workforce restrictions. That's going to further accelerate it. Our approach has been, of course, we are very much in the preliminary stages. Our approach has been, what is the expected outcome for us, or what is it that we are looking for while implementing these solutions? So we are implementing an ERP system to use our data better for decision making, For example, optimizing inventory. So ERP implementation has been one of the solutions we are implementing. We also have a lot of manual processes, for example, in quality control and inspection. So that's where we are trying to introduce automation. At the same time, we are taking care that we explain to the operators this is not a reduction or a replacement for their jobs, but more of a change in their job role. They would be involved in maybe analysis of the data, what the machine is doing. So that's another aspect we have to take care of. So that's what we are looking at, ERP and automation in some of our processes.
Great, thank you. Rajiv, what would you add to that?
Yeah, good evening, everyone, and good morning, everyone. Prajakta has rightly said that Industry 4.0 is no more a buzzword. It has become the necessity of the day for each and every business. What is important is what is expected out of Industry 4.0. We have to arrive first at that. What do we achieve from this exercise? And more importantly is we have to plan this kind of project executions in a very decent manner. A homework is required to be done, and also the management push or the management buying is very important, because that is foremost important according to me, because that is where from it drills down. So it has to be a top down approach and not just a decision taken and implemented. So all this matters a lot, and according to me, and a detailed analysis of the readiness of our organization. Are we ready for implementation of Industry 4.0? What all things need to be taken care before we start implementing, and then calculate as to what needs to be done. So a process driven approach, the top to down approach, a basic homework, a calculation of all the requirements, and then start with the execution. If that is done according to me, each and every organization will definitely going to have a success in this implementation of projects. And as we are witnessing post the pandemic, all these activities are very much essential for each and every organization, and that's the only way wherein each and every industry is going to be back into normal and will have the process excellence built into their organization. So that's my opinion, Vandana.
Brilliant, Rajiv, thank you for that. So Prajakta and Rajiv, basically number one, work out what the expected outcome is for us. Second, choose discrete projects to work on, right? So it could be quality control or inspection, or even if it's ERP, choose something that you can just start working on. The third is make sure that it's a top-down approach, make sure you've got management absolutely bought into it. And the fourth, make sure that you've done your readiness and you've really thought of a process-driven approach. So brilliant, thank you. That's really useful. Ulhas, a slightly different question for you. With your background, I mean, you've seen so many different companies. So I'd be really interested in finding out what is the level of adoption of Industry 4.0 in different sectors?
Yeah, my greetings to all, and thanks, Vandana. I think that this is a very important question, because when we talk about Industry 4.0, we are into that change. It's unlike a 3.0, 2.0, which has happened, correct? So we are talking about this journey while we are into that journey. Just to kind of give you a perspective of our adoption, and we conducted a survey globally, more than 1,200 organizations participated.
Ulhas, are you there?
Digital
Yes.
innovators and digital champion.
so.
What we found out, globally, only 10% of organization has reached a digital champion, which basically tells you that this is a journey for most of the organizations. And basically, they need to get to the next level by having a higher adoption. Coming to the sectors, as you rightly said, that what we saw that the sectors which are challenged most are the one has a higher adoption. Like automotive, we found out is the most kind of adopted. 20% of the global automotive companies are already a digital champion, followed by the electronics chip makers. Okay, so I think those are the one. Around 14% there are electronics companies are a digital champion, while the process industries and industrial manufacturing companies are little laggard in the 4% to 5% kind of people only reach digital champion. So I think clearly it's a journey, and we soon follow that more and more organizations will follow. As we said in our panel discussion, this is no more a buzzword, this is a must.
Absolutely. Right. Well, thank you all very, very much for joining us. We have a virtual certificate that we're presenting to you, which will be sent to your inbox. But in addition to that, as a token of our appreciation, we will be planting a tree in honor of each of you for being part of Integrate. And thank you very much on behalf of IACC to all of you. Everyone who's watching, don't forget that we have polls happening every break. Do vote. In the bottom right of your screen, you should be able to see a button. So please vote in those polls. And after the break, we've got 2 sessions in 2 different auditoriums, which you can join. We have Accelerating Sustainable Energy through Industry 4.0 with Vikas Arya, who's the strategic head at Jackson Group. And that will be here in Auditorium 1. And we also have Threat Modeling for Industry 4.0, which is going to be hosted by Rishu Anand. And that's got Anand Trivedi, who's the business head of APAC at Cyberproof. And that will be in Auditorium 2. The links are in the main lobby. Look forward to seeing you in a couple of minutes. Thank you again, Prajakta, Ulhas, and Rajiv.
Thank you, Vandana.
Thank you.